Hello again, all my comic collecting friends out there in the YouTube comic community. It's Matt, Comic Order 410, here tonight to finally do my last-minute entry to Scotx1307's contest. Scott, I hope it's not too late. If it is, it's my fault, and I'm sorry. But hopefully it's in time. If not, going to go ahead with it anyway. But, of course, Scott, congratulations on your subs in a year on YouTube. That's awesome. We're glad to have you here in this community. You're one of the best guys in the community, and you're up to over 250 subs now, so that's great, and I wish you many more. And, of course, thank you for being generous enough to give away some of your books to your subscribers. I always think it's really cool when people do that because it's generous, and you don't have to do that, but it's one of the things that makes this community such a great place. Please check Scott out. He's a great guy down there in Atlanta. And he's always killing it with the amazing deals at the flea market. Has a great collection. He's a great dude. So there'll be a link below. Go check him out if you haven't and give him a sub. First off, Scott wanted to know what's our oldest comic. And admittedly, I might have something a little older than this because I have a lot of, not a lot, but I have like 4 or 5 boxes of Golden Age funny animal books and giveaway promotional comics from Golden Age. But this one's probably one of my oldest, if not my oldest, and it also ties into another question. But this is Dell Large Feature Comic number 7, and it's from 1942. Pluto Saves the Ship. Prized possession outside of comics. My father, one of them is definitely my father, kept his fan club pinbacks and premium giveaway rings from the 40s when he was a kid. Saved them from the time he was 7 years old, and he gave them all to me, so I'm very happy to have them. But I'd have to probably honestly say my grandfather was also a collector. He left me his beer can collection, coins. I really, really love the blues records that he and my uncle left me. They're amazing. But probably my most prized possession outside of comics is my grandfather's Lionel Electric Train collection that he left me. That was his passion. He was very into the hobby. He kept his trains in exquisite condition for the time when no one knew to preserve things like that. And he was truly, he truly was a collector, and that was his favorite collection. Well, maybe not. His coin collection was pretty ridiculous, but I got some of those. But his Lionel trains were cool to me as a kid, and seeing how he maintained them and stored them definitely made an impression on me. And plus, my grandparents are no longer with us, so it's really cool to have those. What would be your dream vacation? I know Comics Quest and a few others said Disney World, and I can always agree with that. I'm a huge Disney fan. I've been there many times. I always love to go back. It's great if you have kids, but even if you don't, if you're a Disney fan, you can still have fun. It's an awesome place. And I have friends that work there, so I always enjoy going out and seeing them. And that's another point. With Disney World, they treat their employees so well that their employees are happy at work, and they really treat the guests of the resort and the park like gold. They make it a great experience. But I would honestly probably have to say I've been to a few places out of the country, and the ones that stick out in my mind as the most beautiful were the U.S. Virgin Islands, in particular St. Thomas and St. Martin. I would love to go back there. Just an amazingly beautiful place. What would be your dream car? Of course I'd love like a Lamborghini or a Ferrari Enzo or something, but being realistic, I'd like to get a 60s, a restored 1960s Lincoln Continental with suicide doors, or I think it was a 43 Ford pickup that my father had when we were young, and it had a wooden tailgate, and he restored it hot rod style, tricked it out, put a blue metallic paint job on it. My brother and myself loved that truck, and my dad sold it when we were young, so it'd be really cool to get one of those and have it restored to those kind of period hot rod specs. It was an awesome truck. Where would you choose if you had to live somewhere else? Yeah, like the Virgin Islands and places like that are nice, but I don't know if I'd want to live there. I would have to say probably, I'm actually very happy living here in Baltimore. I think America's probably the best place to live in the world. But I think it'd be really, really awesome to live in Canada. It's a great place. And the Netherlands as well. I mean, I know Netherlands, parts of their city has drug and prostitution problems, but those of you that live near any big city, that's the case anywhere. I mean, every city has its really nice parts, and every city has those parts where people just don't go if you know any better. So every place has its good and bad areas. What was your weirdest or creepiest comic buying experience? One that comes to mind was this shop I was browsing in, and the sleazebag owner, it was back in the day when Pokemon cards were big, I guess early 2000s. And as I'm browsing, this group of 8 to 10-year-old kids, there's 3 of them, they come in. And I personally feel if you run a comic shop, you should not do a trade or buy any merchandise off a minor without a guardian present, especially one that young. But this kid comes in, he has a Chromium Charizard card, which was a big deal at the time. And he's like, what can I get for this? The sleazeball gave the kid $20 in store credit for this card. The kid grabs a trade paperback and leaves. And while I'm standing there, he puts the card in a hard case and puts $275 on it and throws it in his case. And I just looked at it and looked at him. Looked at him. He's like, can I help you with something? I was like, not anymore. And I left, and I didn't do any business with that guy. That really rubbed me the wrong way. But thankfully, other than that, there's been a time or two where felt like I got ripped off, but not too often, thank God. And, there was a comic dealer or two that was just such an asshole at conventions, and I'm like, oh, I'm not going to go back to that guy's table. But 99.9% of my comic experiences have been good, so that's awesome, and I'm thankful for that. Last but not least, Scott, want to know your top 3 buys of the year. It's hard to say 100% because, I bought a lot of comics over the past year. But when I thought about it, these 3 definitely came to mind. Again, my 1942 Dell Large Feature number 7, Pluto Saves the Ship. It definitely has some condition issues. I'd put this in about the 4 or 5.0 range. But it displays nicely, and this is Carl Barks' first published artwork, and I'm a huge fan of his. These 2 books I got at Baltimore Comic Con. I've showed them a couple times recently. This is my Wolverine Origin 2, number 1, blank variant that I got Herb Trimpe to draw a Wolverine sketch on, and I'm just so happy to have that. And also this book, Alan Moore's Light of the Countenance. If I can get it open here. Bear with me a minute, folks. There we go. Signed by artist Felipe Massafera, but more importantly to me, signed by the great Alan Moore. It's the only Alan Moore signed book that I own, and I am super stoked to have it. So, thank you all for stopping by. I always appreciate your time. Scott, thank you for doing this generous giveaway. I hope I made it in time. If not, I apologize. Congratulations on all your subs, buddy, and here's to many more. Everyone, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and enjoy your comic book reading.